Go, don't worry, I'm coming. Go, I want to take a photo.
Real life.
It's in the right, Jen. Drop Pink Pin 3. It's on SoundCloud.
Oh my god.
You could listen to it to start this, but I want this to be quick though.
Yeah. Because I have the call, so let's just go through. Because it's 55 minutes, so it should be done by 8:30.
Okay.
If you play it right. Sup, chat? So Skywater just dropped Pink
not
Pin
just.
3.
He dropped it like 7 hours ago.
Oh, well, 7 hours ago, Pink Pin 3.
We listened to it on Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday stream.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy it obviously, but then on Saturday stream,
we're
we're gonna come back.
This one was
Listen to
supposed to be like
Skywater.
random, real quick. Sorry for my webcam. I'm still trying to
Where are
find a
those
way to connect
headphones?
my camera to the thing. It's probably over there somewhere.
Take a photo.
I am
Sorry.
still trying
wait,
to
never
find
mind,
a way to connect my camera to this so it's clearer, but we're just gonna have to go off the webcam today. So today was a busy day, working all day as per usual, but was on Instagram and Tyler the Creator did another interview. Now we didn't plan to watch the Tyler the Creator interview because the last
You plan
one,
to watch two Tyler the Creator
yeah, the
interviews
last
in a
one
row.
the last one I wanted to watch it, but then Mo was like, oh no, it would be more interesting to watch it on stream, and we did watch it on stream, and that was really interesting. So then I was like, this stream, like, might as well just watch it on thing. And we're almost at 80 followers, so one more person should follow us, and then we'll get to 80 followers. Right now we're at 79. Thanks 79 of you for following us on Twitch, and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep having a good time, and we're just gonna keep making it lit. Like
Yeah.
that's just what that's
Yeah.
gonna be. But yeah, so Omondi, for those who don't know Omondi, that is my goat. She runs the Cutting Room Floor, one of my favorite podcasts on Patreon.
She's the host of the show, The Cutting Room Floor.
That's what I just said.
You said she runs the cutting room floor. It's like the way you explained her was like she's not like him. She is him.
What do you
by
mean?
the way. The way
Explain-
you said it. The
explain
way
what
you
you just
said
said
it.
to
The way
me.
you said.
How did I
You were
say
like,
it?
oh, she runs the cutting room floor. It's
What's
kind of like.
bad about what I said?
Well, it's not bad. It's just. Sorry.
So what I was saying is she runs the Cutting Room Floor, which is a podcast I really love and listen to, and has a lot of fashion professionals.
Taking a photo of chat.
It has a lot of fashion professionals that work in the industry, but like the ones you wouldn't necessarily like hear of, like the people more so behind the scenes. But then also recently there's a lot of like just cool people that she interviews, and I really love her interviews. So when I saw her interviewing Tyler the Creator, I was like, I love her. I love her interviews. She's interviewing Tyler the Creator. We just watched the Tyler the Creator thing, and it just felt right. And I was gonna watch it today, but Mo was like, "Oh, wait for Saturday stream." But it's like I don't want to wait for Saturday stream, so we're gonna watch it together.
We're still streaming on Saturday though.
Yeah, Saturday stream is still happening, but again, if anything happens and we have to have these quick impromptu streams like in between, then yeah. But Skywater just dropped Pink Pin 3, so y'all know what I'm doing tonight. Well, I don't know what I'm doing right after. I mean, after this I have a call, but right after the call, y'all know what I'm doing. Okay. We should get into. Do you have anything to say, or we should get into this?
No, let's get into it.
Bet. Let's get into it. Straight to it. Okay. Nice. Computer be cool.
This is some random guy we picked up off the street. He goes by the name of Tyler. Yeah, okay.
Wait, can you hear it clearly?
Let me see.
Or does
Play it.
Before you got here, we were having a conversation about fears as a creative, things that
okay.
It's good.
Man, just trust that Whak&Mo fire, bro, to turn the whole shit up. Why is it on 720?
Maybe that's what Instagram has.
What are you doing? I guess that's the highest resolution, so.
hold ourselves back and things that we
We're
can
gonna start
possibly
again.
get
I'm
to
gonna
the
start
next
again from the
stratosphere.
You guys are watching my goat on stream. Get on Twitch.
This is some random guy we picked up off the street. He goes by the name of Tyler. Yeah, okay.
What's up, y'all?
Before you got here, we were having a conversation about
Focus.
fears as a creative, things that hold ourselves back, and things that we could possibly get to the next stratosphere if we were not hung up on XYZ thing. Before you guys came back, him and I were having a conversation about, in short, if he is as confident as he comes off. Right? And I'd asked that because I was kind of joking, like, are you always like this? Like, do you ever have any fears? Do you ever have any jitters? Do you ever have any anxieties?
so
and what was your
much.
answer?
I think
I love
she's
her
so
too. She's
good.
such a
She's
good-
so good at interviewing. Like, she's so good at asking questions.
Like, I'm not even
Where
glazing,
you're like-
but like she's so good.
No, she's so good.
Like even the way she just, cause again, I feel like why this interview is important is because I haven't seen any, like I just know I haven't watched any Tyler, the Creator interview like
Like,
this.
yeah, that like someone like her has like gone. 'Cause I feel like Omondi's like, she's like very like intellectual, but she has this like funness
There's just a
to
sense.
her.
I think there's just like, because even that, like even the question.
Yeah, she's
she
just
like
fun. I
asked.
don't know.
Like I've watched so many Tyler, the Creator interviews. I've never asked. Have you ever had anyone ask him if
If he's always
confident,
like this? Yeah,
as
yeah,
it comes
yeah.
off? And like that's like the first question. So I really love.
No,
I
I
love
love
Omondi
Omondi.
because
She's
like
so
she
sick.
just has a way
The cutting room floor is the best
when
thing.
she's like talking
watch
to
it.
people. Okay. Let's go back.
What?
For the most part, no.
Is that true?
What'd you ask?
I'm like, that can't be possible. Seriously.
And she said that, and I said she's saying that from the floor in the building that she sits on because she's probably in her floor surrounded by everything that's mentioned. Where on my floor, if it is some, it's dust in the corner. I don't work from that realm. Cause she was like, "Do you have the jitters right now? Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Why the would I be? Nobody here has a gun, so what am I gonna be nervous about?"
Okay.
He's actually sick. Like,
I think I
he's
like.
just a cool guy.
this. I think I like this version of Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah. What like this? What do you, when you say this version?
I feel like there was.
s-
So
when
there's this
you-
interview he does on Breakfast.
Give me 1 second. When you say this version, what version of Tyler are you talking about?
I feel like this, like Tyler being like this Tyler, like now. Because I feel like there was a time where there was I think right after Call Me If You Get Lost. Call Me By Your Name. Right after Call Me If You Get Lost, like he did a bunch of interviews and it was very like, I don't even know, it was just like he was definitely in an era and it felt like he was like trying to like prove something, at least to me, from that like era. So like the interviews were like, now when I watch it, I'm like, okay, I get it. But like at the time I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I feel like now, like I just really love this. I love this version of him.
Shout out Kilo. How you doing, man? But yeah, no, I agree. I
Go
feel like
back to the,
I think this version of him is very like zen.
like just calm, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
I like
feels
the
more like
energy.
mature.
Hashtag
Sub
right,
Jupiter, right, Jen? We're watching this Tyler, the Creator interview that he did with
Omondi, and Omondi is the GOAT.
for Instagram, and Omondi is the GOAT. So we're
Omondi
just
is the
we're just
GOAT.
getting
It's gonna
in
be
here.
good.
Okay, so nobody has a gun, but still, like, when has there been a time where you looked at your creative work and you felt cringe about it? Have you ever experienced the cringe?
She asks
She has such good questions. I know. Like that's what I'm saying. Because like I think there's so many Tyler, the Creator interviews, but I just knew this one would be different. I shout out Instagram for getting her to actually do it. Because I think seeing Omondi ask more like people like an Omondi kind of interview would be so
Would be
good.
so good,
I
yeah.
don't think she'll ever do it, but I think it would be so good.
Nah.
Cringe?
No, even my old stuff that I'm like not, because I got famous off of my teenage rough drafts. So like I got on at 18, and this is just us around, talented, but like, you know, you say crazy to make your friends laugh and this and that. And that's what propelled my career. So even looking back at that stuff, while I'm not there with who I am today, I know that's where I was and I meant it. And that was like me at that time. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. It's like looking at your early drawings or whatever. And I don't cringe at it. And even if it's something
Right,
like,
Jen,
I
shout
don't
out
like it,
chat.
I don't want to listen to it, I still have the same amount of love for it because I know what it is and what it meant at the time. I think the thing is, I'm such a fan of myself and almost so full of myself. And I think in a positive way that like, I'm not judging myself as a critic who doesn't know me way. I know that I want to get better at what I do. I'm a true student of the game for whatever medium I'm in, and I enjoy what I do so much that I can't even look at it in a negative light because it brings me so much joy.
That's so real.
That's so real. That is so real.
That
I
is
feel.
so
I think
real.
it's kind of like how we were looking at a bunch of our fits and like putting them on like the Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are like good. Like I feel like I'm not like older past like when I was like 19. But like I could look at those fits and I'm like, these are good. I feel like even when we were like 16, like I look at some outfits.
Yeah, and I'm
that
like,
we wear,
for
and
the
I'm like-
time.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, like I might not be like, yeah, this is very like supreme or like not, maybe not where I'm at right now, but it's kind of like, you look back at it and you're like, there's a sense to this outfit that
I think there's something about like really. Again, I think that's why it's important to be like true and authentic to yourself, because like when you're doing the thing, it's like at the time it's like if I'm not trying to like be anyone or I'm not trying to like I'm just expressing myself
being
how
me,
I
yeah.
express myself. Then if I look back at it in like for me, but then again I think it's also like rough because then I look back at it and it's like, oh, like this was me at the time. And then I think we've done a couple interviews where like I can't even listen back to my voice.
sometimes no,
because
there
I'm
was-
like
I feel like there was
there's a period of time. That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
A period of time where it's like I couldn't even listen back to my voice. And then now I realize that like that was just like people making me feel
Like weird
bad
about myself.
about being myself. And then the moment where like I'm fooling myself and I'm fully comfortable, it's like I could interact with that stuff like, oh, like
yeah,
this
like
is why
this is just where
this is like the energy I was
there.
at when
And
I
like
was
sometimes
like,
I hear myself say some things and I'm like, I don't really like. There was a period where I'm like, I don't really like why did I say that? And then you kind of like grow out of it and you're like, you know what? Like
it's like that's just
not-
what I was
Yeah, that's just
feeling,
where I was.
because like I was being real.
You know, at the time, this is so good. I
This
feel
is
like even
good.
just the energy of this interview is so,
It's so
good.
good. But let's keep it. Let's not try to pause that much. Sorry.
What's the part?
It was so silent.
What you were saying, like, because that's interesting. When was the last time you felt self-conscious? Because this is human. Even if you're a fan of yourself, even
I'm
if
not
you're
love
saying
her.
that
I love,
don't
like, she's
feel
just
ways
like-
like that, but I
I
think
love her
it's through
question.
different filters. So let me give an example.
Sorry, chat says you go from judging yourself to having full confidence in your thoughts, processes, and identity. Yeah, I think that's so true. I feel like, again, I think that's the human experience. See, to be honest, I feel like I think we should not put a timer on this and we should just let this ride because I feel like this stream is going to be a really special one. And I feel like we're trying to like be like, oh, let's finish this and not interact. We like chat, we're not gonna have a good stream. But I think that that's so real because I think you kind of like, or sometimes, actually growing up, I feel like that's just the human experience. Like you go from a point of being like, ugh, to like the more you like grow and then you kind of look back and you're like, you know what? That guy was not that bad.
Well, yeah, but I feel like also I think those experiences, by the time you get to that point, you're like, whoa, like if I didn't go through this and I didn't go through this and I didn't go through this,
Then I would never
it
be
wouldn't-
here.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be able to like be like that. So it's like I think about like outfits, for example. Sorry, that's where like I always go to. Actually, I'll do design this time, not outfits. And I was having a conversation with one of people we work with this morning, and we're talking about like how people would come to me and be like, oh, yo, like, hey, like, or I'll get a DM and be like, oh, like I'm 20 years old and then like, but I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And then they're talking to me, but they're comparing themselves to like artists that are like 60 years old. And I'm like, you can't really know you can't really know if you ever accomplish anything like that artist until you're 60. Like, because you're 20 now, but you're looking at a 60-year-old and you're comparing yourself to a 60-year-old.
And it's kind of like 40 years. That's like
It's like
missed.
40 years missing, but it's like a better way to be like look at them when they were 20 and be like, what was that like? And like, if you do look at that, like you're probably doing like
What they were doing when they
you're
were
probably
20
doing
or
you're
more,
probably better
yeah.
off, yeah. And it's like, and I feel like we tend to like judge. I don't know if this like goes along what
Yeah,
we're saying.
hashtag right, Jen, if you're feeling this.
But I feel like we tend to like judge ourselves or compare ourselves to people that are like way ahead of the journey than us. But it's like we don't recognize that like, yo, if they're doing this at this time, then like, what would I do when I get there?
when I'm there.
Like, how do I like kind of push it till I get there? They said, he wasn't. He was learning about himself in a way that felt like self-manifestation. I don't understand that. But
No, I think that was in relation to
what
the
Tyler was
Tyler,
saying?
yeah,
Oh,
Tyler.
okay.
I love that. Shout out chat, man. I love you guys. Let's keep going.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Let's get the question. So
Ways
happy
like
guy.
that, but I think it's through different filters. So let me give an example.
Omondi's
Oh,
the
okay,
man.
okay.
so
I don't know if this is gonna answer. So, all right, I just got off on tour. I leave tomorrow for the European leg, and on my tour, I have a crazy hair in this like army suit or whatever, and these big shoulders, and I do weird movements, and it's ill. It's ill. And we're in one city. I forgot what show it was, but the energy was just dead. It just wasn't a show giving me back what I was used to. Over
The audience.
Yeah, the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm up there and I'm like, man, I can't wait till this show is over. And then it got to a point where I'm like, damn, I'm really on this stage, dressed like, man, I look dumb as Why didn't none of my tell me not to do this? Oh, this is terrible. Well, I like it. And then I actually get weirder. Then the movements just actually, I'm like, I'm here. And then I just actually do more to just make it look worse, if that makes sense. And that's probably that was probably like 3 weeks ago. But I look at it as a positive because I kind of like uncomfortableness, like you said.
Yeah. Is there any time where your fame is in contradiction or is at odds with your creativity in the work? Because I know you like the work.
Good.
I
Sorry. I'll go back so we get that. Her questions are
so good. Like we literally watched. I feel like this is not. I feel like I decided to watch this just to fangirl over Omondi. the whole time.
Yeah. Like I feel it's a good Tyler interview, but I know it'd be really good because it's from a different like lens. Our questions are so good.
Like you said.
Yeah. Is there any time where your fame is in contradiction or is at odds with your creativity in the work? Because I know you like the work.
I always bring this up. I put an album out in 2015. And when it came out, dude, most people hated it. It was, this is terrible.
What album?
Right? Cherry Bomb.
Okay.
The album called Cherry Bomb, 2015. And my goal on there was to prove to myself that I am the most diverse producer at the time, that I could do literally every genre. So production was my main focus, but because of that, the songs suffered because lyrics and structure came second. I remember putting it out and people were just on it. And I'm like, you don't get it, I'll die by it. You guys are and dirty. And when you hear all that stuff, you could be bulletproof and not, and saying you don't care is, I think, also two different things. You could not acknowledge it, but being aware of it is something that I was. And I was just like, this is interesting.
Being aware of what?
Being aware of what they're saying. Because some people be like, I don't care, I shut it out. But it's like, no, I see all of it.
Cherry Bomb's so funny. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That for real, bro. Cherry Bomb is hard. Cherry Bomb is a good album. I remember in, I think 2019, I was working at the post office and it was this Sunday. I don't know what happened. I just decided to like listen to like Cherry Bomb. And I think I ran that album on the loop for like my whole 8-hour shift. I don't know what it was. Like I just listened to that album over and over and over and over again. And I feel like it kind of like lit like a light bulb in my brain. That was Cherry Bomb is such a good album. I'm right there with you, Kilo. Love that album.
I read it, I see it, da-da-da-da-da. But how you acknowledge it, I think, is the important part. So I'm like, hold on. I took a step back and was like, what's the disconnect here? Because these bridges are insane. These chords are crazy. These melodies are crazy. What is it? And it took me a while to realize, like, what is the actual disconnect? Because most people just say whack, 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 but they won't articulate why they dislike something, especially now. So I had to take a time out and be like, okay, what's the disconnect? Okay, what's the difference between the last 3 things I've did? What's the zeitgeist music? Just trying to really put this together. And it made me say, oh, the songs aren't good. And I don't mean good for them. I'm listening like, oh, I was so lasered in on this specific piece that I didn't see how that affected the whole thing. So because of that, I went back and was like, I need to reteach myself how to write songs. I need to relearn how to write songs. I need to actually sit, what is a hook? What is a chorus? What is structure? What's an outro? What is this and that? And because of that, I went back and studied records that I thought I knew like the back of my hand, songs that have been with me since I can remember remembering, and listen to it in a different way.
I really like that.
So good.
No. Since I can remember remembering. Like, I just like that phrase, since I can remember remembering.
Like, listen back now and it's still fire. Bro said this N1 was spitting. Hashtag right chat. I fucking love chat, bro.
Hashtag right chat.
And the point I'm trying to make is that part of fame, when people are just on your head about something that you hold dear, like the art, it's seen as negative a lot now, but that happening to me was actually one of the greatest things I could, because it made me dive into my skill and my craft more and get out of my own because I was so focused on this one thing and start looking at the bigger picture of things. And that not only helped the art, but like in life, like, oh, you'll be mad at some for 2 days and then I have to pull back and be like, wait, that doesn't even matter. I should this whole relationship over this and that. So I think that that's one thing that contradicted at first, and then I'm grateful for because I came out on the other side of it and saw a positive in it.
Okay. Do you think you'd still be making music if you hadn't popped off at 18? What if you were still like 34, grinding it out, and you really hadn't seen like the fruits of your labor yet?
Definitely would still be making music in some way, shape, or form. Probably not obviously in the same way, but that for me is not just looked at as a hobby. Like, I didn't really play with toys as a kid. I like CDs. So I loved it when my mom was like, we're going to so-and-so house. I would love going there because then I'll just sit in their CD collection and just read the credits. Like, that was the greatest thing for me. Going to music stores, like any birthday money I got. I was at Sam Goody. I was at Best Buy. I was at Warehouse Music. I love music so much, more than any girl I dated, they know. And I've told them, like, I like you, but you will never get
You're like, I'm
in
married
front
to
of
the game.
music, like, ever. And my mom told me the other day, she was like, that one girl, she was nice, but she just couldn't understand that. My mom was like, I'll never get in front of the music for you. And like, it's a real thing. So
That's amazing.
Me making music would be forever. I'm going to be 80 years old in a diaper. Like, because it's not just a hobby for me. It's not, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I was able to, like,
Ain't nothing better than the work and grinding it out. Kind of reminds me of when you were putting together the Virgil book. Okay, I feel like bringing this up, I think I have to talk about this. So I have this book that I made that is...
Don't say what it is.
Well, it's a bunch of photos of Virgil, and I made it into this book. Where is it? I'm gonna show chat a quick peek for some of you that are in here. So yeah, I have this book. I have this Virgil book. It's a bunch of photos. That's the long version, and then this is the other version. But yeah, this is the Virgil book that Kilo is talking about. And yeah, I think this was 2022.
Bro said that explain. Like, bro, don't show that, bro.
This was 2022, and I remember sitting in the bus, and I got this idea, and then I think it took me like 2 years. I think last year was when I kind of like put this together, and I guess what Kilo is saying is kind of like that. He reminds me of grinding it out because I had to put together all those photos like one by one. I'm like on Illustrator just putting photos and like, yeah, so InDesign, not Illustrator. We used InDesign. Would you use Figma to make it today, or you still use InDesign?
No, InDesign.
Okay. Whak said if we were to make that today, we'd probably still use InDesign. But yeah, let's get back to this.
be ridiculously successful with my real passion that I made a hobby that bam, bam, bam. Like, I'm so lucky and grateful.
I like that energy. Gratitude is key. Okay, I want to open things up to the flow. And I'm going to step into the Q&A portion, and I really want you guys to, Tyler too, I want you guys to really be able to speak freely to each other. I'm here just kind of as support if you need me, but each of them have a question that they want to ask you. We're going to try to get through as many of them as possible.
Let me answer chat's
Good
question.
thing.
So Izzy, you know your question?
What is happening? Do you want to answer that question?
InDesign better than Illustrator? I think InDesign and Illustrator are two different platforms. So it depends on what you want to do. So Illustrator is mostly for like graphics. So like if you want to make like this graphic on this t-shirt, you make it with Illustrator. If you want to make like
that graphic on that hat, like posters.
like the graphic on the
Like
hat,
that poster.
that poster. Well, that poster you could also use InDesign to make it, but like ideally you'd use like Illustrator to make more so like vector-based like graphics. Now InDesign is more so for like printing. So let's say you want to make a book, you want to make a poster, you want to make like InDesign. The platform has more like magazines, more publishing
capabilities.
Yes, and then Illustrator has more so like
Graphic, like vector-based graphic capabilities.
and then we have Photoshop, which is more like image manipulation based, and then Lightroom is more like photo editing, like colors and stuff.
I think it's kind of funny
and then
because
Premiere Pro is like video editing and stuff. Sorry.
No, I would say I think it's kind of funny because I think AI took Photoshop's job.
Not really. I mean, to an extent, but like I think AI actually makes Photoshop better, which might be a controversial like hot take, but I feel like now you could do so much more with Photoshop that like you had to figure it out, but like now AI like just makes it easier, and it's only going to get like more easier. And that might be a controversial take, but yeah. Take notes, chat.
But yeah, InDesign and Illustrator have two different functions.
From when I was 12, I was cooked, bro, because that's all I did.
Yeah, I think when Tyler says that, like, I think if someone was to ask me that question, or if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, what would I do? I have no idea. I feel like I'll be doing what I'm doing.
Like from when I was 12,
until,
I remember getting a cracked version of Photoshop from this kid in boarding school in Nigeria, and that kind of started the path for like me. So like it would be like me and the computer and just like grinding it out, like figuring out, like learning how to use all these platforms, and then YouTube, and then
YouTube University.
And
like
then
learning how to use all these platforms on YouTube.
And then again, it's also easier to like learn when you have like a project you want to do. So like there was this guy at the time, and I remember he used to do, because I was like when we're in Nigeria, and I think his name was Duro Arts, like Duro Arts, and he used to do a lot of Olamide album
Davido, I think he did the Aye Davido.
He did the Aye Davido cover. He used to do a lot of Olamide album covers, and he was so I was so inspired by that guy at the time, and like I would learn how to use Photoshop. And the only reason why I'm saying is that the best way to learn is like having something you want to copy, and like figuring out how to copy it successfully on the platform.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say copy. I'll just say having like a purpose, like having something you want to make. So if I want to make a poster for a party, now that's kind of like what. So now I'm figuring out how to make a poster for a party, and by figuring out how to make a poster for a party, I could learn how to use the platform.
Yeah, but I feel like it's easier to like copy. It's easier to like see something and be like, I want to make that. Like that is what I want to make, and then because figuring out how to make a poster, like coming up with it on your own. It's like no, it's like I want to make that. Like that's how I feel like that's how I learned, because I'll see things and I'll be like, okay, I want to make that. And then in the process of figuring out how to make that, then you're
learning the platform.
With something crazy. What's the craziest thing that you've designed to date? That is such a good question.
What should I answer for you? What I think, okay, you say the craziest thing you think you designed. I would say the craziest thing I think that you've designed.
I don't know if I could talk about the craziest thing I've designed
Why?
To date. I don't know. There's a bunch of things I really like that I've designed. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What would you say is that? I don't know. He said, "No, NDA." I don't know if I could talk about the craziest thing I've designed, or maybe I can, and I'm just like, what would you say is the craziest thing I've designed?
Well, I think recent, I'd say the Right Gen t-shirts. To me.
Okay,
To me.
I think that's cool.
I like
But
the
again,
Right
I kind
Gen
of-
t-shirts.
Like,
But then that's like recent. I feel like I'd have to like look. I mean, bro, you've designed so much.
I've done a lot of things. There's
You've
this
made
poster.
a bunch of stuff.
There's this poster that I made that I really like because I feel like it was very like now I don't even know if I could find it. I'm gonna look. I don't know if I could find it. I hope my computer doesn't slow down. Do both of you design together?
Yeah,
In
you
a
kind of like.
way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more. Actually, Sha, I'm gonna show you one of my favorite things. I'm gonna show you one of my favorite things that I designed.
In a way, I feel like we do design together. So let me figure this thing out. No.
No, that can't go there because that's input. You can only put a charger there. I feel like only a charger would work there. So maybe charge. Let's see. If you take out the charger,
individually.
wait. If you take out the charger there,
Don't move. You can't. If you move this thing, it'll stop recording. Like you can't fuck up this thing.
yeah. But I'm saying, take out the charger there so your computer doesn't get fucked. Let's see if it's charging. Is it
It's
okay?
charging.
So then you could plug it over there. Okay. So now they be going design for design. We can do each other. I think we do design together, but I feel like we design in like different ways. So I think I'm more acclimated to physical. And it's not that Whak doesn't design physical too, because like he designs like t-shirts, all this like hats, all this stuff. But I feel like I'm more like if you had to do like physical stuff like this book, I put it together, but then like the insides like Whak designed like the logos and like where to put the text and like where things go, like the placement of it like on there. I feel like Mo is more of a physical like designer. So this is one of my favorite things that I've designed. I made this when I was 19. Actually, in that room, there's a house that I designed when I was 16. It's long to bring up, but I think this is one of my favorite things that I've designed. So this is a milk carton. I applied for architecture school, and they gave a prompt, and the prompt was you had to. Let me see if this is taking it. The prompt was you had to use a milk carton, and you have to use all these materials, and you have to make something. They said you can make anything you wanted to make. But the only what's the word? The only
Limit, like
limits.
limitation.
The only limits is that like you only have to use like tape or like staplers. You only have to use things to put things together.
He said this is cheating. Niggas don't have a twin. But it's like this is all like him. Like I didn't.
this was completely
Like I didn't.
I'm talking about it. So yeah, so that was the prompt, and the thing was you only had to use like tape or like you were allowed to use scissors. You're allowed to cut it up, but you can't add any more material to it. You just have to use this material. And for whatever reason at the time, I think I was really interested in, I guess, making design more democratic, like making more people. Rosette too.
That's better than what I'm crying.
I think the idea was like making more people get more into design and stuff. So my idea with this was like, okay, imagine you were a kid and you woke up in the morning and you had to drink milk out of this carton. I felt like at the time that does something to your brain where like now you're looking at the world from a whole different perspective. And
I feel like sorry for cutting it, but I feel like it goes is like if from the regular carton you could have like a twisted one, then it's like if this twisted one is a kid's regular carton, then what could they make from this?
Yes,
twisted
like
one?
if this is your starting point, and this is what you're seeing in the morning, and this is what happens. This is what your mind like takes in. If you had to design a milk carton off of this one, what would you design? That was kind of like the thinking.
Yeah, like, and it'd also be like
again,
a fun
drinking milk out of that carton would be fun for kids.
like thing for, and I love how it's like actually like bent. So it's like all the like.
I think
graphics and
design
stuff is
limitation though for this is because of the way it's bent, it can't really hold
a lot
of milk. So I was working on a V2 version at the time where this was more so a different kind of shape. So it's still like
twisted.
it's still twisted, but it
has
could actually
room to
hold. It has room to like hold milk. So that would be the V2 version of this. One day,
But this is fire.
One day I'll design it, but this is my
And at the
This is my milk carton.
time, I think Travis Scott just did a what's it called? Travis Scott just did a collab, I think with like Reese's Puffs or like McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
And I'll get so mad because I'll see all these like collabs that these people are doing, and I'm like, you could do something
you
interesting.
could do so much more.
that kids could now have like access to like design, but like high design from like a very like what's it called? Like from a I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's like kind of like from a real like level. Kinda is fire because it's less
Bro, it's a kind of like fire because
fire
it's
for less milk
for the same price. See business.
I'm charging 50% because of the design.
That's actually, I feel like business people will love this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, we could just sell. Again, and I feel like that was the other thing too. It's kind of like, what if we took everyday objects and just made it
like more
interesting so that everyone has access to like good design. So this is one of my favorite things that I've designed.
This, I would say, is one of the things I've designed. Like, this is the first thing that came to my head. I don't know if it's my favorite thing I've designed. I mean, I would say it's one of the works that I'm the most proud of because I made this in 2021.
I think this was
2021, I think.
2021. I think this was 2021.
I think I designed it in 2021, and at the time for me, I think what I was looking for was like I always wanted to make something that felt like design, like with the capital like design, like I'm a designer, and I feel like when I made this, like I just remember fucking around with, because I think I made this on. Well, I did a couple drafts on Photoshop, and then it didn't really like work out. And then I think I went to Illustrator, and I remember doing the effect where like I could explain how I did this, but it's so long to explain it. And I just remember seeing it, and I love this poster so much because it was for this artist I was working with at the time had this show, like this Winterfest like show. I had to make a poster for that show. And I was like, okay, it's a winter festival. He's like performing music. And I'm like, how do you mix like an artist's, like, like a festival poster, like when you see like Coachella and all those things. And it's like has all the artists like run down the name, location, all that. But then actually explain to people what it is. So I don't know if I have to like over explain it, but it looks like
I think you should over explain it.
Okay, I would have explained it. So it's kind of like a snowflake. Like the idea was like, okay, it's a snowflake winter, but the snowflake, what makes this one different is that like the dots kind of feels like snow actually like falling. And I was like, okay, but then also if you could also look at it in a different way where it's kind of like, this is like a stage. Like here would be like a stage where the artist would perform, and like this would be like a runway of like what a stage would look like. And then this would be all the people around kind of like watching him like perform. And I was just thinking about these things of like, okay, how do we show that? And then I remember doing a bunch of colors. I remember doing like I remember doing like blue because it was like winter blue. I remember doing a bunch of stuff and it just didn't work. And at the time I was very like much like design. And then I just made it like black and white. And I was like, wait, this is kind of like snow is white. Winter's like gloomy dark. Like this like makes
it like feels like winter.
Yeah, like it felt like winter, and I was like, this is right. So this is one of the things I designed. This is one of the things I would say I designed that I'm proud of because I think it has so much. It's more than a poster. Like this is like an art piece, like to me, and I feel like I like it because of that. Would I change anything if I was to make this today? Not really. I don't think I'd change anything. What I would say though is, to me, this side always kind of felt heavy. This side kind of felt heavier than this side. And I think the weight of the, like if I was to fill out the weight of the poster
It's
is
heavy.
heavier on this
It's heavier
side.
on this
But
side.
then even this text under doesn't help that weight. So maybe I would have put the text here
Oh yeah, to make
to
it
like
more,
make
balance
to like
it out.
balance it out because of like the weight. Or what else would I have done? Yeah, maybe I should have put this more on this side to kind of balance out the weight, so then it leads your eye from over here down to like here. Or but I like it for what it is. I mean, like what Tyler said in that interview, I feel like for what it is, I like this poster. So that is one of the things I designed that I really enjoyed. I think this is good because if other artists are
On Winterfest, they could be on the other side.
Exactly. Well, I was designing for the artist I was working for, so this was like the Winterfest had their poster, but I was making one specially for them
For the
and
artist.
for that artist. And yeah, I feel like if other artists were on the bill I was designing, then there could be room for other like artists. But I really like it. It's like cool. It's like expressive. It's everything that I like, know, and enjoy. So yeah. You all have any other questions before we get to?
Yeah, before we get
I'm kind
back
of
to
enjoying
the-
this. This is cool. I think we make all this stuff and like we never get to like talk about it. So I think this is like a cool. And this is not even what we plan to do on this stream. So I really like. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Graphic design is my prison.
Yeah, let's go back to Tyler.
Okay, so we'll go back to Tyler. X. That was pretty cool. I didn't even
I know, I've
remember
not
that.
spoken about that in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
My name's Izzy. My friends call me Izzy, but my mom calls me Isaac. I'm a dancer and movement artist from Queens, New York. I just booked a residency in Vegas. I leave like in 2 weeks, but it's like my first long-term project. I'm usually like short-term projects, where it's like award shows or music videos or campaigns. It's like a week project, but it's the first time it's like a long-term one. And I know the performance quality they expect is like high every single night that we'll be doing it. So I was just questioning like how to maintain creative stamina and energy, like to just deliver a show every night and not just go through it, but like to actually bring something, because people are coming to see me and like I want to make each show good.
I mean, I've been heard calm down, chill my whole life. So I'm just naturally turned. But like I'm 34 now. So I'm on stage for 90 minutes by myself, moving non-stop. Till the first minute to the last minute, no one else on stage, just me. And luckily I only drink water. I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke or nothing. But I try to stay physical throughout even my downtime. So like riding my bike as much as I can, going on walks. I was talking to someone out there, they was like, people don't walk in Los Angeles. I was like, I do. Like, we'll park our cars somewhere and we'll go walk to the store or whatever, the movies.
I want to get a bike
like.
this summer.
You gotta also keep that up as much as possible. We was in Miami.
Chat, crazy hack. And I'll tell y'all because not that many of y'all live where I live, so you couldn't like do it. But go on Facebook Marketplace and look for bikes. Like a lot of older men are getting rid of their bikes. I don't know why I know this. I don't know how, but like go on Facebook Marketplace and look for bikes, and you can get one for really cheap. And
You get a really good bike for a really good
cheap.
price.
I'm talking like 30, 40 bucks, and you could ride around with a bike in the summer because it's hot, and you should do it. So
Bike hack.
yeah, get a bike this summer.
We was in Miami. I had a show 2 weeks ago, and we had our off day, and we went jet skiing and like walk and get sushi, and then found this ice cream spot. We eating ice cream, and then the homie just walked up and was like, "You're it." And you just had a bunch of 30-something-year-olds playing tag for 45 minutes. But you need that. You need that inner child to keep you going, because it works in
I
both
love that
ways,
so
physically
I love
and
that so
the creative
much.
standpoint, when you're just like, ooh, what's that? And like that curiosity, both will keep you lit.
Yeah.
I think you'll be straight.
Facts. Good looking.
Yes, sir.
Kara. That's it?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Kara.
Pretty good.
I love how I'm the one that was like, make people say it right.
And then, no, it's
Struggling though. All right, you're up next.
okay, yeah.
Yo, I
My
know
name
this
is
girl from Twitter.
Kara, but the way to actually pronounce it is Kara. So that's
I've been trying to encourage her to make people pronounce it correctly.
Say it again.
Kara.
Kara.
Canada.
That's kind of close.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Something. I'm a hair artist. That's my main thing. I also do modeling, and I'm getting into, well, I'm writing my first comic book right now about a black girl who's a superhero, and her hair are her powers. So that's kind of like the thing that I'm trying to transition into. So I had a situation where a casting director reached out to me, and he was like, wow, I love what you do. Your hair is so unique. I've never seen anything like that. I have the perfect job for you. And when he told me the job, it had to do with a toy brand, and I felt like he kind of misinterpreted my art for something more juvenile. And I know you can't control how people perceive your art, but I feel like I'm meeting so many people at the level that I want to work at, and they'll be like, I've seen you everywhere and I love what you do, and I don't know how to, I don't know if it's convince them or try to like have them give me a chance to style their hair, or you know what I mean? Like I can.
Oh, Tyler's gonna answer this question so good. I already know. Oh, Tyler's gonna answer this question so good.
Elevate a look. Like I can create something, you know, that can be beautiful and not like juvenile. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how do I kind of navigate that?
Just from how I live my life, it'd be the most random things that has gotten me to doors that I wanted to get to, but it wasn't the path that I specifically had envisioned. Like I'm a easy pivoter. Like I pivot. Something I get bad news or something, and I'm like, all right, new game plan. What's plan B? Like I'll be sad or think about it later. And sometimes, bro, those be the greatest things that ever happened. So hopefully in the future we see something in a different medium like that pertaining to you. Two, I don't know if this is gonna answer your question, but when I first came out with music, folks just thought that it was just like, he was like, why do people like him? Folks just thought it was rap, just the raps or whatever. But like, I was producing the music, I was designing the stuff. I was 18, basically running a label. But some folks didn't know that. So on my album from 2017, the one after the one that everyone hated and didn't realize my focus was the production and music side, I remember that was the first album I put on the cover to let people know all songs written, produced, and arranged by me. You have to tell people who you are. You have to let them know who you are. And I remember putting that on the cover, and not fast, but the conversation slowly started changing a bit. Then my next album from 2019, I put that on the cover. And the conversation, just seeing that all songs written, produced by that guy, oh, I thought he was just a rap. Now they're subconsciously listening to the production in a different way now, because I let them know that. Now, when people are talking about the album or reviewing it or this and that, I don't like his raps, but the production's great. I don't like his production, but I love his pockets when he does this. Now they're looking at me in a different dimension. And because of that, now the handshakes in public and the compliments I get have a different weight to them, because now they're familiar.
It's a distinction.
It's a distinction now, because I let them know, hey, by the way, bam, bam, bam. Now on my Instagram, and this is years ago, it's not just, you know, me looking cool in the light, skin glowing, cute stuff, da, da, da. No, let me put a video up of me playing that synth solo or like the piano or the drum. Like, show them, like, by the way, this is what I do. This is the real deal thing that I do. Giving them all the context of like why you're you is important. And I don't know what that is. I don't know how you do that in your way, but I remember doing that for me helped slowly change how people who was familiar with my work seen it. And it like how you market yourself, what you post, how you post it, how you talk about it, what you really do. And some people post like my brain's farting, I'm glitching. But like some people show the process, and some people will, I think I noticed this like a few years ago, like if you go to someone's page on some type of social media and the before you click it, like the stop frame, the frame of it is like the finished piece. And then when you watch it, it takes you from the beginning to the end. And I was like, oh, that's good. The people that stay, they're gonna see the time, energy, love, whatever that went into it. And then when they hit that person up for some type of opportunity, it's gonna be a different talk than if they just see the finished product. So like you might have to, I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out, but I know what that feeling is like, and I've went through it in my own way.
I feel like I feel like I want to speak on this too, because I feel like we've kind of gone through that similar thing where it's kind of like I can't remember when was it? This was like 2021 maybe. Like early 2021, a lot of people were like hitting us up. We're like, oh my god, you guys are doing well on Instagram. Like you guys should do like the influencer stuff. And like I think we did like a couple of those. And then I'm like, I don't want to do this. So we just stopped doing it. And I think this idea of telling people like who you are, remember, we're very precious on the Whak&Mo page. And we're like, no, we just want to show fits. And we just want to show how we're so like put together and like all this stuff. And then, I don't know, for whatever reason, it kind of like flipped where it's kind of like, no, like we made this album cover and we're going to tell you how we made the album cover. We're working on this thing. I'm going to post on a story every day telling you how I'm working on this thing.
I think for me, I think personally, I've kind of seen that manifest in like a real way where it was like, and I don't want to use this example. Actually, you know what? I won't. I'll just be like I feel
What
like
example?
I feel like it's like, I think it's like, it's kind of like people would like see us like do this thing and blah blah blah, and then it's almost like you go into like all these rooms, you go into like you meet all these people, and everyone's like, it's almost like you're not. It's almost like oh, you guys don't like get it, like you guys don't understand what it is that I'm trying to do or what it is that I'm trying to say. And I think it then takes a certain level of like, and it's difficult, obviously, if everyone knows you for like one thing, it's difficult to be like, okay, like I'm gonna stop this thing from coming to me for what I don't want to be known for, and flip it 360 to be like, this is what I want people to like address me as, this is what I want people to like know me for. And it's difficult because again in your head you're thinking like, oh no, but like I'm doing so good here, and like if I leave this, then this would like I'm cutting out so much things. But it's like you kind of don't know what happens when you go to this other side, and then it just starts working out even more for you because that's kind of what you wanted, and like you're more aligned doing it, so you're kind of doing it better, getting the rewards better from it. So I think kind of having that moment of like telling people exactly, and it's like, again, I think it's a process of even sitting down to like writing down to be like, who do I want to be, what do I want to be, how do I want to be like perceived as, or like what am I, like what message am I trying to pass across, and then actually taking the time to like properly communicate that to people that are kind of interacting or getting like into the stuff that you're doing. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I think that makes sense. But that was really good. I love this. I really, 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 really love this.
Hashtag write Jen in the chat if you're not
Hashtag write Jen in the chat.
Hashtag write Jen in the chat if you're not feeling this. Chat.
Hey,
Write
let's
Jen.
move on to you next.
Yeah, sure. I was kind of thinking about what you were saying then, and it kind of made me think of another question.
Kato.
I'm a maker, I
love
make
his
things,
accent.
I make paintings, me and my friends make music,
The guy from London?
and
Yeah,
I'm working on some
that's-
short
yeah,
films
yeah, yeah.
at the moment. Now I've got a project coming out this year with my
I think I
friend.
know most of these people from Instagram, but I think Instagram pick
people from Instagram to be a
this.
part of this.
Which is music, 2 band projects, and like whether I use the platform I've made for my art as the way to introduce those new projects and risk sort of the audience not understanding the transfer, because it's like a group thing as well. I'm not the like main artist. It's like bringing what we've been doing for years together. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Me brushing my teeth and me walking is two different parts of me, but it's from the same body. And you can't allow
That's a good analogy.
the folks who like your paintings. You can't be so caught up on them feeling away because you also make music. You could be a multi-hyphenate person, and if they don't got a problem with it, then like you cannot hinder yourself because you scared because the dude who likes the way you do your brush strokes won't like the snare you added with your drums. Like,
yeah, I suppose it's more because it's like a group project as well. Like for a film I made, I'd be like, boom, chuck it out. I feel like that was my contribution. Whereas this is a bit different where I'm not the front runner. So I suppose that's why it's a bit different.
oh, look that out, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have folks who, I was here 2 weeks ago and an older woman came up. She looked so ill and she was like, yo, I love the bedding that you did with Parachute. I'm not too familiar with your music, but your bedding and the color palette you use in your clothes, I love it. And I was so excited. I was so excited about that because something that I did that was very specific, like bedding and pillows, somehow made it to her. And I'm not gonna sit there, you don't like my music. I do so many things. There's people who like the clothes and stuff I make that don't give a about my music. And it's folks who love my music who just wanna wear sweats and white tees. They don't wanna dress like a Crayola box all the time. And that's okay. And the people who love your painting, I don't think they're gonna like your paintings any less because
for sure.
you also do music with your boys. Like,
Yeah.
And if they got a problem with it,
Okay, Trinity, I want to speak to you, or I want you to speak to us, rather.
Hi. So basically, I'm a skateboarder.
I
so
love
my
her
biggest
voice.
thing
Hi,
is
she's cool.
I'm afraid to get hurt.
She's cool.
You know, like I really want to do this trick, and I know there's like a big risk of me getting hurt. But if I land it, everyone's gonna like it, and that's gonna be the one. But then what if I land it and then they don't like it? You know, so I feel like my biggest thing is a lot of the time I seek validation from other people, whether it's trying to make my family proud, whether it's trying to impress my friends or, you know, posting stuff online. And I know like you always talk about like, you know, not caring what people think and stuff like that, but I feel like in real life, it's hard to really not care what people think. Like, you know, yes, everyone's always gonna have an opinion on you, but it's like you want, like you said, that instant gratification. So I guess my question was like, how did you like stop seeking validation from other people? How did you start trusting yourself and your work and what you like? And especially like when you were first starting out, basically, like how did you just get that confidence?
If you had to answer that question, what would you say? How would you answer that question?
I mean, I think, again, I think from hearing what she's saying and how she's saying it, like I understand that it's something difficult for her, like thinking and caring about what people like think or like what people would like.
Don't say but. Use a different word. Use a different word to connect to what you're about to say. Don't use but.
Like you can, I don't know. Like I just say like you just can't care what.
But then again, I feel like though you have to think about it from, you can't tell her you can't just care because that's not where she is. So if you actually had to give her advice that would help her from the position she is, what would you say to her?
Like again, I think. Okay, I think I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say you can't care, and why I'll say you can't care is because it's like a personal thing. Like what you're doing is personal, or like it's coming from a personal place. So it's like if I'm putting this stuff out there, like I'm putting this stuff out there. And it's like, yeah, we're all human, so obviously you care about human validation and what people say, blah, blah, but it's like, if you switch the metric to, I'm putting this stuff out there just to put, like, to me, this is more so, I'm recording the period of time I'm in now, and that's what I'm putting out there. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, that's okay. But for me, I just need to put out this time. I just need to contextualize this time I'm in with what I'm making at the time. And again, also knowing that not everyone might like it. Like not everyone likes. It's kind of like you listen to hip hop, you listen to rock. This group listens to EDM music, and it's like, if people don't like it, that's okay. That's just not your cup of tea, and that's fine. But then it's like we tend to focus more on those people as opposed to people that actually like it and having a conversation with people that like it. So to me, I think it's more of you're putting stuff out as a personal thing, and to switch the metric and look at it from more so, I'm recording a time and this time needs to be recorded for me.
I don't think that answers. Like I understand what you're saying and I hear where you're coming from. But I don't think that answers her question from where she's at. Fashion Utility says, if you're making a design for a brand and the feedback isn't what you want, but you are proud of it, but then you're making a design for a brand.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
She's saying that she's skating and she wants to land a trick because she knows that if she lands a trick, everyone will go crazy. So it's kind of like what I think.
Before you go, I think let's separate it. Let's separate this. If you're making a design for a brand and they don't like it and you're proud of it, you're doing a job. It's a job.
You're making it for someone else.
Yes.
So you're proud of what you made that someone doesn't like. That kind of doesn't make sense. Because like if I came to you and I told you I needed water and you made me
and I needed water with juice.
I needed water. Yes, I needed water. I made me orange juice. And then you brought orange juice to me and you're like, yo, I squeezed this orange. This is the best orange in the world. I'm really proud of this orange juice. That's not what I asked for. So that's different. So that is different.
Because again, that's like a service job. Like if you're doing something for someone, you're in service to that person.
So what they want is
priority in that setting. Even if you're proud of it, that doesn't really matter. In that setting, it's like
I want water. I don't want
for her,
juice.
I think she's talking about kind of expressing herself and putting the stuff out there.
And I think she said that like she wants to like land a trick and she knows that like everyone would like go crazy if she lands that trick. But then again, she's kind of like, she doesn't want to like fall down and embarrass herself or something like that. And like, or like people making fun of her for not landing that trick. And I think this kind of comes, I think, in the sense of like, she's having a normal human experience. Every human being doesn't want to feel vulnerable. Like I feel like we vulnerable in like not like a weak way. Like you don't want someone to.
It's kind of like you're putting yourself out there. Like
Yes.
You're open.
You're opening yourself up, and like
to like
opening yourself up for the world can be very scary. But then again, you kind of have to realize that like. Again, I think it's this. I'm trying to find a way to put this to make sense. I think it's this thing where it's kind of like I like to skateboard, and I want to land a trick, because for me, if I land that trick, it brings joy to other people. So it's kind of like I want to give joy to other people. And then again, it's kind of like, I think, as you said, I think we separate. I'm explaining it. I think there's different things at play here. There is this part of her that wants to perform to make other people happy, which is natural. Like we all want to like make something and be like, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's so cool, right? That's one piece of this puzzle. I think another piece of the puzzle is you putting yourself out there because in your mind, you want to bring joy out of people. But when you fall, you bring something else, doing it in a way that doesn't seem like you're seeking validation. Yeah, we're getting there. So then now you're doing this because you want to bring joy out of people, but then you're so scared that like if you fuck up, the joy that you want to bring out of people wouldn't be there. That's one piece of this puzzle. There's another piece of the puzzle where it's just like you just want to skate and you just want to be like a good skater. So what I think is kind of like separating those two and looking at the part of you wanting to skate and kind of looking at that as a journey and being like, if I skate so much, if I practice that trick over and over and over and over and over again, I'll land the trick. And then one day, landing the trick becomes so natural to me that I land the trick and the joy comes from the people. Do you know what I mean? I think putting the two out, because now you've taken the enjoyment for yourself out of this thing, and you're like, I will only enjoy this thing if the joy comes from the people. Do you know what I mean? I will only enjoy this thing if I give joy to other people.
Yeah, I mean,
then you can never win.
I think that's basically what I was saying, where it's like you just have to reframe it in your mind. Like you have to change the metric through which you're looking at this thing. So my suggestion was just see it as I'm doing this thing out here to like show you this is not even necessary to kind of like this is the part of the process I'm in.
This is the part of the journey I'm in.
And then I'm putting that out there as a like timestamp of the time I'm in, and then the next time you see where I'm at, and the next time you see where I'm at, and I'll get to the point where I'm really good, and like that just shows like things. So to me, it's like switching the metric in your brain.
So I guess if we were to put everything we've just said in bite-sized things that like make sense, I think number one would be figuring out how to switch that metric.
Saying you should not care is easy. Well,
what does that mean?
Again, I feel like that is even like something even like deeper. It's kind of like, I think again, it could be like, why are you trying to seek validation? Like I think this is something where every person has to look within themselves. Why are you trying to seek validation from other people, from people that don't even know you? And it's like, why are you trying to, why does that person being like, good job, like make you, like what thing in yourself are you not like, okay, I'm comfortable with that you have to. So I think it's a personal like journey with yourself where you have to ask, like you have to figure out why you need that validation from other people. Like what is that validation from other people
doing for you? Like what are you missing that this validation from this person will give you? And 9 out of 10, you're not missing it. You just haven't discovered that part of yourself. And I think, so saying you should not care is easy. Well, it is easy to say, and then obviously it's not easy not to care. But that is why I said, if you separate the two and look at this as a journey and look at it as a muscle that you're building. So yes, I care, but then I'm just looking at it as if I do this over and over again, I'll be good at it. Like there's no magic about it. Ask anyone that's done anything ever.
It's all reps.
You do things over and over and over. Like you can walk without thinking because you've walked so much. But a baby,
I don't know. I think I still say not to care. Like I understand, but I feel like why?
Yeah, but then again, I feel like you have to. I know what you mean, but I feel like you have to see both sides.
Fair, but I just say I hear it, but I'm just like,
again, we need to go back to the video, but bite size. So if you say bite size answers to a question, I would say number one is look at it through a different metric, and that could be you could either look at it as this thing I'm doing now is recording this time, so that in 2025 I could come on stream and show chat a poster that I made in 2021. That's one metric. That's one way you could switch the metric. Another way you could switch the metric is looking at it as a journey. It doesn't even have to be like recording a time. You're just like, I'm walking somewhere and eventually I'll get there. So whatever works for you, just switch that metric on how you view the thing. That's one.
I'm really interested to like how Tyler
message. But yeah, let's see what Tyler says. You said that's the answer.
That could help.
A musician singing on an empty stage is different from singing to 500 people. I don't understand that. What is the context to that? Let's see what Tyler says, but explain that to me. Good conversations, chat. I love this.
The best thing to try to do is always put you first and make these things for you first. Because at the end of the day, when you go home and you in the room by yourself, do you like it?
I be rewatching my skate hips 50 times. I post on my story. I be rewatching my story like, I hit that.
That's what you gotta do. Because sometimes, bro, like I don't know too much about basketball, but from my friends and the stuff they tell me, they'll be like, oh yeah, so-and-so one of the greatest players ever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Does he have the highest stats? And they'll be like, not really. And I'm like, wait, what? And he was like, but he had swag and confidence and he loved himself in the way he was doing it so much that it just bled out. And that's why people gravitated to him compared to so-and-so who's technically has all the stats, has all the things, but he just ain't have no swag. So like, he just was just.
This is so funny because this is kind of how I judge like the people that I like. Okay. It's like that nigga just doesn't have, like he just cannot do it like J.W. Anderson, you know?
A blob of human that could shoot a ball. And I'm like, oh, snaps. I feel like you could put that in any medium, whether it's music, painting, skateboarding, all types of stuff. So like the way you just lit up when you was like, I be rewatching, you need to be on that type of time all the time, because the people who might not give you that instant gratification at first might end up being attracted to that.
Yeah.
And then that could be the way to funnel where they be like, actually, she low-key fire. And like, bam, you got something right there.
That's a good answer.
That's
So
a
let's
good.
go to you
That's a
next.
good. I'm trying to understand. Sorry, I'm trying to understand. A musician singing on an empty stage is different from singing to 500 people.
Because that's
Like
talking
what-
about something else.
Yeah, like what context is that? Like
From.
what context am I
looking at,
Looking
like
at-
interacting with that
from?
Chat, shout out chat, man. I love you guys. This is an amazing stream.
The validation is needed.
The validation is needed for
what? From who? A musician singing on an empty stage. Chat, sorry, maybe I'm not understanding something. so I
Does someone
want
else
to-
in chat, like, cause someone else in chat, the
A
validation
musician
is
singing
needed.
on an empty stage is different from singing to 500 people. The validation is needed from people. I don't understand. So help me understand. So a musician singing on stage, on an empty stage, and then singing to 500 people, they need validation from the 500 people. A musician singing on an empty stage is different from singing to 500 people. The validation is needed from people.
Why?
No, like I don't understand that. Like that doesn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm asking. Slon loves painting. Okay. Chat, is anyone else in here like understanding this? Because if anyone else in here is understanding this, please
help me
in.
like explain so I understand better. Sloan loves painting. Okay.
It's a different feeling now that you can paint and make a living from it.
this. Okay. So you just stated two facts. No, you're good.
You're good. Just reply. We're here.
So Sloan loves painting is a different feeling now that he can paint and make a living from it. Okay.
Shout out chat, man. I love you guys.
The validation from people loving it is needed.
Why? Why? Why is the validation from people loving
It's needed.
it's needed? You just said Slon loves painting.
You just stated two facts.
Yes, you said Slon loves painting, and you said it's a different feeling now that Slon can paint and make a living from it. But then again, no, not two facts. You stated one fact, and then you stated an assumption. Actually, two assumptions.
Okay, the validation from people loving it is needed. Needed for what?
Yeah, that's what
Like,
I'm
I
asking.
think
why.
that's what I'm not understanding.
I think it's subjective from a certain standpoint you are at.
For instance, someone that just started and someone that has great experience. I'm loving this though. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to
like
really
less.
get to.
You love designing, and what is well received. You keep
You're
saying
just saying things.
You're saying different things.
Now you're just saying things.
So you said a musician on an empty stage. I felt like what?
But that's not what I'm asking is what is the validation needed for? Like the validation from people. So you said Sloan loves painting is a different feeling now that he paints and makes a living from it, and the validation from people loving it is needed. Needed for what?
Yeah.
That's what I don't.
Don't give me any more
Don't
people
bring
that
any more
love
facts, no.
stuff and people
Or don't give me any more,
accepting that
like-
stuff.
Don't say more things. Like I'm trying to understand the stuff you've already said before we move
Because we already have two. We have a musician singing
on an empty
on an empty stage. We have a musician singing to 500 people. We have that.
And then we have Sloan loves painting, and then different from now that he's
Making a living from
from
painting.
it, and the validation from people loving it is needed. The validation from people is their way of reinstating that it is good. Why do we
people
need
need to tell you that it's
reinstate
good?
that what you're doing is good? I'm loving this.
I am enjoying the fuck out of this. This is good. Hashtag Rat Jet in the chat if you're having fun right now, man. Hashtag Rat Jet in the chat. Hashtag Rat Jet in the chat. The way I see validation is either an ego thing or a way to feel accepted. Right?
Hashtag Rat Jet.
That's so
fire.
hard. That's so hard. I love how those two came like back to back.
That's
the way I
fire.
see validation is either an ego thing or a way to feel accepted. Hashtag
Rat
Jet. Oh my god, I fucking love chat, man.
I like that. But I actually still want the question to be answered. Why? So you know it is good, but if only you know that it's hard, especially when you see this as the only thing I want to do. So again, we're conflating it. Because you say you, and then the last page you say I. But I'm not gonna oh you, okay. But then why is only you knowing what you're doing is good?
Such a bad thing. No,
Like, why is that
Yeah,
hard?
like why don't we want that? Like why do we want other people to say it's good? Why can't we say it's good for ourselves? Like I want to understand why we cannot validate it.
I think I'm gonna wrap it up here because I want to go back to the interview. I think what I'd say is, I think of it like this. If I don't believe if you're trying to sell me something, and I don't believe that you believe that what you're trying to sell me is good for me, I'll never buy what you're trying to sell me. I'll say that again. If you're trying to tell me something, and I can see you don't believe that what you're trying to sell me is good, then I'm never buying what you're trying to sell me, because why are you trying to sell it to me if you don't think it's good enough for you to use for me? In that sense, it's like if you're making something, you will never get the validation from other people if you don't validate it yourself. Like if you don't think what you're doing is
exactly.
good
Like
enough,
if you didn't think whatever you're doing was good, why the fuck should I
why
think
would I
it?
think it's good? So it's like, who should be the first person to like you should be the first person to buy what you're selling
before selling
before expecting
anyone
anyone
to
else
buy it.
to like buy what you're selling. And if you don't think it's good enough, and then if you think it's that good, so if you had gold and you know how good gold is, would you want to sell gold easily? Like if you believe it's that good, then it's like, I have gold, so you could buy the gold or not. It doesn't matter.
I have
because
the
I have
gold.
gold and I know the value
of
of gold.
Again, I think I'm going to use another analogy. If a toothpaste company was selling toothpaste and you went and you watched the interview of the guy that owns the toothpaste company, and it's like, oh no, I don't use that toothpaste. I don't use my toothpaste company. I use the other company. Which toothpaste company are you buying? His company that he's telling you he's not using, or the other guys on that? The guy that has a toothpaste company is telling you he's using that one. So I think you have to think about it like that. If you don't validate it, no one is.
Yeah, like if you don't kind of have the, like that guy singing in an empty room, if he's not as happy as he is singing in an empty room when he's singing in a room with 500 people, that like if he's not happy when he's singing in a room with 500 people, the same as happy when he's singing in a room alone, then I don't think he should be singing. Like I don't think that is what makes him happy. I think the thing is, for the stuff, you do the stuff because you love it. And because of how much love and how much passion and how much joy you put into it, other people could see that and they could, and they connect to that love and that passion you're putting in. Now, even if they don't, it shouldn't matter because you love what you're doing, and that is good for you. So for Alamode, you said Alamode is like well received. Well, it wasn't. it wasn't when we did it for the first 2 years until it was. And if I was like, oh no, no one is.
Oh no!
No one is
believing in this idea.
No one is seeing what I'm trying to do. No one is believing in what I'm trying to do. Then it would have never got to the point where you think is being
well
accepted.
received.
We're gonna go back to the Tyler interview, and yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. And don't assume things.
Hashtag Rajan in the chat.
Hashtag Rajan in the chat.
I'm from New York. I'm from Manhattan. Represent. I'm a musician. I
She's from New
produce.
York.
I sing. I do like experimental stuff. Also do more traditional stuff. I feel like I'm working on something right now that feels like it's definitely like diverged from what's out. That I have like an EP. I'm constantly like reminding myself like, girl, nobody knows who you are. It really doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like what you're doing or what like how you choose to create something new.
I like how
so I
calm
guess
she is when she talks.
because what I'm working on is very much, I don't know, it's like inspired by like that corny era of like Bootsy Collins and like, I don't know, like those songs and love songs in the 70s.
What era?
Corny? Did I say corny?
Yeah, why'd you call it corny?
Because corny is good. Because corny is like,
Why is that corny?
because it's like, hey, baby, like, I don't know. It's like,
What's corny about it? By the way, I take offense because I love Bootsy,
I love Bootsy.
Parliament, and like George.
no, I
was like,
I love all of that. Like, what I'm making is inspired by that. I think there is kind of like a campiness to it because it's so like unabashedly itself and like vulnerable. And so maybe the right word is more like vulnerable and tasteful.
Yeah.
I guess corny is like the branding of it. But so my bad. Shout out to Bootsy. Love you. But has there been a time where the vision for what you have is bigger than maybe like the means or like the resources
This question
that you have available to you?
This question again, bro.
This fucking question again.
bro.
Just go out and fucking make something. I said it the last time.
This question again. I think this is a good. Oh my god. I think this is a good opportunity. I think this is a good opportunity to talk about this, because I think after watching the video, I had an idea, and I was like, I feel like everyone thinks that things just like. Sorry, I want to collect that thought properly before I like put it out there. Okay. I feel like people think you need a lot to make something really good. Whereas there's this saying that goes, necessity is the mother of invention. So like it didn't exist. Like it was necessary that they made it exist for it to like happen. But because they didn't have, like, it wasn't like they had a lot to like make. And I think what people don't realize is in limitation, you get very creative. Like you get really resourceful when you don't have. Because if you had to figure stuff out and you didn't have the resources, then your brain actually has to start working to figure out, with what I have, how can I get what I want to. And that's the only way you could make something interesting with that limitation. There's a video of this artist, I can't remember, and he's talking about how like sometimes when he wants to play the guitar, he only like limits himself to like 3 strings, and he has to like keep playing those 3 strings and play it so much until he makes
just
something
a new loop,
interesting. And it's like, with not having resources, like that's a superpower. That's a good thing. You actually don't want to know how to do the thing to get. You actually don't want to, like, you actually want to go through the process of figuring that out. Because one, that makes you just way more. That is just way more. It makes you way more creative. It makes you way more like resilient, and you like learn a lot. And by the time you get over to that other side, you're like, whoa, like this is what I was like missing. And then by the time you get to the point where you actually have the resources, you realize that like you don't need it.
It was never about the resources. It was always about the idea.
like
was
you don't
never
need it.
about the $1 million budget. It was always about the idea. Like again, I think the idea of necessity being the mother of invention is extremely important here. And I think for creative people, what is creativity? Creativity itself is literally problem solving. And to solve a problem would mean that a problem would have to be a problem would have to exist for you to want to solve it. So when everyone's like, oh my God, I don't have the budget. Nigga, if you cannot make a good song with $0,
If you cannot make it like
You
the
cannot make a
Steve
good
Lacy
song
song, like
with
the
$1
Steve
million.
Lacy song with the iPhone. Like if Steve Lacy didn't make that song on the iPhone, then we wouldn't have bad habits. Like and that correlation is like there. It's like and now we even have way more resources
Than niggas had
people
back
did
then.
back then. And it's like if you're looking for more resources in like, it's like you just keep waiting because it's never gonna like happen. My mom always says this thing, and I think I'm gonna end it off here. My mom always says this thing, and shout out her, I love her. Use what you have to get what you want. Use what you have to get what you want. I leave it off there.
Yeah.
But let's see what Tyler says though. But this question, man, I don't know why. I think a
It's
lot
so
of
funny
creatives.
because he said this was recorded like 3 weeks before he went to Europe for his
Europe?
Europe leg. So I think he adds. It's so interesting because maybe
Oh, yeah, I wanna
he
see how he
got this
answers it,
question.
yeah.
This was the first time he got the question, and then on the
He
other one he
answered
got
it
it
then.
again.
And if so, like, how did you push past that? If that's something that you faced?
Actually, I'm gonna go back
How
so
did
that
you-
we hear the full question.
Shout out to Bootsy. Love you. But has there been a time where the vision for what you have is bigger than maybe like the means or like the resources that you have available to you? And if so, like, how did you push past that? If that's something that you faced?
Good question. Don't say words like that when you're talking about what you working on. I really didn't like that because then now we looking at what you saying through the lens of corn now, which has a negative. Like, don't do that. Like, if you fire, campy is a better word for, but like, stand on your stuff.
There we go.
He's a real nigga.
Real nigga.
He's a real tell. Wait. Let chat see my face. Tell the creator is a real nigga.
He's real for that.
He's a real nigga for that.
I think that is even what we're saying about like the validation thing. It's like you start like you believe in what you're making so much that it just shouldn't like I'm just that good. Like I'm like what I'm making is I believe in what I'm making so much that
It's just the best thing in the world.
and even if if I'm the only one that gets to enjoy what I'm making, then
That's okay.
Then that's okay because you guys don't even know what you're missing out on.
He's a real nigga for that.
You know? Yeah. Seriously, when I was 15, I had dreams of starting a magazine. That was my main dream. It was gonna be called Odd Future. And
That's so crazy because when he answered her, he just came to that example like right away, and he kind of flowed.
the goal of it was to feature just all the stuff that I was in, whether it was skateboarding, music, photography, art, the whole thing. Pretty much like a sponsor for people in those mediums. So I grabbed kids from the skate park and then the photographers I know and then all the rappers and the producers, and it became a collective. And we kind of fed off of each other, but bro, we are poor in Hawthorne, California. Like, no resources, don't know nobody, no money or nothing like that. But that didn't stop me from mocking these covers up and putting it on the internet and like, whenever we can, filming whatever we can. And like, yeah, we're gonna have a show on Adult Swim too, and filming it on terrible cameras, little skits, and then a music video, and then look at the t-shirts we made, and still had to get the idea out, even if it was the 10% version. Just had to, because you keep doing that. Now you have this incredible resume, and people keep latching on to things. And that day you actually are able to get those resources and that budget and all of that, you have all these years of practicing and crafting and getting better at your skill and things like that. And now, when you get that budget, you know exactly what to do. You're not gonna be nervous, like, I don't know what it, like now you know what's cracking. And I did end up getting a show on Adult Swim because of those skits from 5 years before. I did end up starting 3 clothing lines because of those t-shirts. I was doing iron-ons in my room at 15, like, and I had a ball. So don't let the lack of whatever you consider super crazy resources stop the idea from coming out. Pivot and get it rocking. Because then 2 years gonna go by and you're gonna be over that idea because you've grown as a person, and it's gonna be like, damn, I didn't knock that idea out. I have a few of those where I was like, I should have just shot that damn video. And now
I have one.
I'm not there no more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wish that could have existed and I could have done that. So don't let that stop you, please. You'll figure it out.
Thank you.
Naomi?
I want her to talk.
Okay.
Why did I
Hey,
get
I'm
her to
Naomi,
do
or you can call me Neo also. I'm an actor and also getting
Looks very familiar.
I know. You're
into writing and filmmaking. I'm like, have a few projects that I've started writing recently that I'm like hoping to write, act, and direct, which is crazy, but that's the goal.
That's not crazy
At all.
Fire.
Yeah. So I'm an actor, as I said.
Hashtag
I feel
Red
like
Jen
it's
in
a
the chat.
weird medium
Red Jen in the
because
chat.
you can't do it by yourself ever, unless I'm just like doing my monologue in my room just for fun, which is a part of it. But you are in this collaborative process with so many people, and you go on set and you do it, and then the first time that you see what you did is like probably at the premiere, and you're like, God, why did they use that take? Like, what the hell? And so you like end up in this
That's so interesting because I didn't even think.
Yeah, like you never think like
you never think like
actors-
actors are looking at the
at like the take
stuff
for
that they're making
for
and
their
being
movie like that. Because I feel like it's kind of like the same.
Not kind of like the same with modeling.
But I don't think at that I don't think it's like because it's kind of like
You're
you know,
talking,
acting,
you're
blah, blah.
moving, you're doing
But it's like you
stuff,
like
yeah.
do a shoot and then the photos come out and you're like, actually sometimes you don't even see the photo at the shoot, so you don't even know what it like looks like, and it comes out and you're like, oh my god, I hate how I look there. Like my
Oh my god, I'm
face
trying
like
to
that.
think. Is there like a photo? There's definitely a bunch
There's
of
definitely
photos.
a bunch of photos
that I'm like,
I've
I
seen and I'm
hate
like,
this photo.
and there's some that I've done that are so good, and those ones don't come out ever.
Like
And
they
then-
don't use those ones.
and you just
then-
gotta charge it.
Nah, that's super interesting.
experience where you don't actually have a lot of control over the finished product, like versus things where you're also directing, also writing, like overseeing more
entropy?
aspects of it.
That is entropy.
And so like,
not entropy.
how do you not
eternal.
let that
Eternal.
lack of control impact
Is that
the work you
eternal?
do when you are in the room? And like
Not entropy eternal.
the kind of,
Entropy is something
I don't know how
else.
this is gonna turn out because I'm only here for this day, this week, whatever. Like,
That is I think that is eternal.
I think that's eternal because even the like
Yeah, even the
link,
the link.
how do you, I guess, like let go of that completely?
I would say just try your best and stay loose. By that, like, stay oiled and just have fun with it. I shot my first movie in December. And the director, he told me 4 years ago, like, bro, I'm doing a movie, I want you in it. I'm like, listen, whatever you need, I'm there. I love your work, I trust you. I don't even want to read the script. Call me, I'm there. I've never acted for real in my life, but I'm like, worst coming to worst, I suck and whatever. So I did it. And I was like, I showed up and I was like, hey, I am here for you. What do you need? I hope I'm trying my best. Da-da-da. I learned a lot. I had a great experience. 2 weeks ago, I was out here and he showed me some clips from it. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, I'm in a movie. Crazy. And I'm looking and I'm like, man, I'm acting. And I'm like, damn, am I terrible? Is this good? And then I stop myself and I'm like, it don't matter. I'm in the movie. People hate it, they don't. If they like it, they don't. But I had such a good time. And hopefully it's decent enough to have that experience again and run it. And I remember being on set, like, trying my best and being so hyped on the experience by having fun with it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna be hard on myself and try to be, I was just like, this is my first time.
So I gave myself that grace.
And I think with a lot of things, of course we wanna be the best at whatever that is, but also leaving a bit of grace in there for yourself to mess up.
Emily, do you want to join in?
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna chime in, but I was like, maybe not sure. I was gonna say, as a director, like, if a performance is bad or like considered bad by anyone, even the actor themselves in the final version, like, that's on me as the director. Like, I chose that actor, I probably wrote the script, I directed them on set, I was the one who said, we have it, we can move on, I edited it, I chose to keep it, I chose which take, like, that's not on you. Like, you did your job, and if you weren't right, I wouldn't have brought you on. And maybe it is partly like, we're really cool making work and kind of coming of age as artists in like a very internet heavy way where we're so self-aware is maybe part of it. But also, like, film's a very expensive medium, so there's like legitimate like financial stakeholders, and like, say it loses people a lot of money, like, you may not get to make that another movie. So just kind of
how do you create like no one's watching?
Yeah, despite all that.
But when you have real money on the line.
Yeah, real money, and just all those factors of like audience, but also money and all that. Just how do you kind of still have creative freedom and, you know, like, be able to work?
Yeah, it's just, that awareness thing is super, super important. I have a thing where I'm like, create like a child and just edit like a scientist. Like, that right there, I think, has solved so much.
That is such a good quote.
That is such a good quote.
That is such a good quote. Create like a child, edit like a scientist. Tyler the Creator's dropping bars, man. Hashtag right Jen in the chat. Chat, what are we doing? Right Jen, right Jen, right Jen, right Jen, right Jen. Let's go.
Many things from, like, when I make songs, it'll be freaking so many versions, because I'll put all the ideas out, just all of them. I'm not trying to be good or great or bad. I'm just putting it there. And over months, over a year or 2 years, I edit that song to make it the best version that it could be. And with that comes an awareness. I know how humans react to.
See, I feel like what you just said kind of makes me think about you when you're like designing stuff, and it's like, oh my god, like, is it good? And I'm like, and to me, it comes from like a day of like, but leave that thing for a day and just walk away, and then come back tomorrow, and then you like play around and then walk away, and then over time, I feel like what I've kind of learned in kind of my own process is letting time take that. And I feel like now that I'm saying that to you, I'm hearing that to myself, where it's kind of like, with time, that thing that you just like put out there, you kind of like refine, and like with time you kind of get the best version of it.
I think if you study like a lot of like artists or a lot of like people that have like done stuff, it's like Steve Jobs or like the Lisa, the Mac, and then all this getting kicked out of Apple, that whole thing, and then by the time you're making like the iPod, by the time you make the iPod, the iPhone, like all this, like you're very
like direct.
Yeah, but then that precision comes from all these years of like
just like doing
it over and over again. I feel like, again, even saying that with like design, it's like the Illustrator file looks crazy. Like there's so many different like iterations and different like trying out different ideas, and by the time you get to like that idea, it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know what Tyler said. It's like, yeah.
Create like a child, edit like a scientist. Shout out to the Creator, man.
That's a good quote.
Certain low end. I know how humans react to certain vernacular. I know how music. I got to know the zeitgeist of what's going on right now. And it's not to emulate, it's not to be parallel to it, it's just to know what the hive mind overall is thinking. It's not a bad thing. But the awareness level of creating like a child and also editing like a scientist, which just means like knowing facts, knowing this and that, I think definitely will help a lot of those things. And when you got real money on the line with shareholders and this and that, like, honesty is key when you're talking to these folks, so they know for sure what they signing up for, and you know what you signing up for. So it ain't no surprises, it ain't no this and that. Nobody is sitting at the end pointing fingers because something didn't work. Y'all will have an understanding which allows sympathy to be within the conversation, just in case something does not meet the criteria or whatever that everyone was expecting. It's like, oh, damn. Well, we are a firm that handles billions of dollars. We've lost 5 million before. It's okay. How you feeling? Let's get them next time. Because that's something that could happen when that honesty is real from the get-go. When you're dealing with these corporations and businesses. I know.
Yeah, it's helpful to hear at like an early stage, because I'm like, oh, it's only gonna get probably bigger and more pressure and more stakes. Yeah.
And you got, even the fact that you're super aware of that now, like, you'll be straight.
Okay.
You'll be straight.
Thanks.
Joelle, let's hear from you.
Fire.
Hi.
That's really cool, man.
So sudden. So my question, I've been in my field for about a decade. I started when I was really, really young, but I started going into this specific avenue of doing like editorial stuff maybe about 2 years ago. And I have found myself kind of stuck in this position of being like a supporting artist, like, assistant artist or whatever the case may be. So I was wondering how you were able to build up like the team or the network or just like the public perception of switching your career from being like an opener, like a supporting role, to being like the main feature in the projects that you take on and being seen as like a leader in what you do.
Our first tour was 2011, and it was us. No openers, no, we didn't open for no one. It was just me and my crew, our feature. It was just us. And in 2013, we opened for Eminem at a few stadiums in Europe. And in 2015, it was an artist that asked me to open up for him. It was either 2014 or 2015, asked me to open up for him. And when I got that opportunity, I remember saying to myself, let's do it, with so much excitement. I didn't look at it as like, oh, I was like, oh, they're never going to forget seeing me this early in my career. And just like how I put the thing on the cover to let people know who I am, you got to continue to find ways to let people know who you are and shine that light on yourself so people could be like, oh, what's that over there? And sometimes, bro, that's just marketing. That's just to write one song. That's image. Bro, there's so many folks out there that make trash music, but they look cool. So we just keep giving them passes because it's like, da-da-da. And that's fire. And there's some people who like might be in the cut, might not have a public perception or persona or like footprint, whatever the word is, but that music just hit crazy because it just hit at the right time. So I think you gotta really take a step back and be like, okay, what's this and that? Or your next opportunity, like, oh, these people gonna leave here talking about what I just did on stage. Like, you gotta be actually crazy enough to think of something like that. And I didn't want to say the person's name, but I remember that
I'm very curious.
feeling. Oh my God. And I guess sometimes too, I just be looking at like the positives of weird situations like that and was like, yeah. Like if someone, it's people now that I'm headlining. I'm doing 6 shows at Staples Center type stuff. Like it's a big deal. And it's people still to this day that I will be like, oh, you want me to open for you? Say less. Say less. Watch this.
I want to actually open up the question to the entire group, taking your fears out to dinner. And if you sat them down, what would they say? In a non-
Bro, Amondi's the fucking GOAT.
Taking your fears out to dinner, and if they sat down, what would they say?
Bro, Amondi is the fucking GOAT.
Nah, she's hard.
How does she come up with this stuff? Like, oh my God, I love Amondi.
I think you
Oh
just tell
my
she, like,
goodness.
reads a lot.
Oh my God. She's so, oh my God. She's so ahead. Oh my goodness. She's so GOAT. Oh my God. I have to go back.
Want me to open for you? Say less. Say less. Watch this.
I want to actually open up the question to the entire group, taking your fears out to dinner. And if you sat them down, what would they say? In a non-hostile environment, right? That's the idea of them being out to dinner. Is that they're not supposed to be yoking you up at dinner, right? So does anybody else want to share? Reese?
Reese.
Before they share, if you had to answer that question, do you have an answer?
What's the question?
You take your fears out to dinner, what would they say? And it's a non-hostile situation, so they can't, like, come upon you.
I don't know, chat, what would you say?
Chat, what would you say? Chat, answer that question. If you took your fears out to dinner and it's a non-hostile situation, your fears are sitting down in front of you, what would they say? I want to know what chat says. I'm trying to think about it. Chat. I'm waiting. Take your fears out to dinner, what would they say? Should we, like, listen while, or you want to answer?
I think we should listen.
We should just watch. You don't have anything? I'm waiting to see what chat says. Why do you make me feel like I won't get it right? Is that you talking to your fears or your fears talking to you?
What's the question? The question is what your fears are saying to you,
Yes.
right? That's a good question.
That's such a good question, but I don't. I'm asking my fear. No,
your fears are
supposed to ask
asking
you. I'm gonna play the question again.
The question to the entire group, taking your fears out to dinner. And if you sat them down, what would they say? In a non-hostile environment, right? That's the idea of them being out to dinner. Is that they're not supposed to be yoking you up at dinner, right? So does anybody else want to share?
I want to hear what they say.
Reese?
I'm Reese. I'm a VHS cinematographer, social butterfly, extrovert, always trying to vibe. Yeah, that's it.
And Reese, where are you from?
I'm from Jersey.
Jersey.
It's weird because when it comes to the things I make, I'm like so 10 toes about that. I'm doing something that I haven't seen be done before successfully around me.
Can I take a break real quick to give Tyler context? So she's the first person in her family to pursue a creative career at all. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is like pursuing a creative career, but it was like later on in my life. Like it's like when I already got to college. But like everyone else in my family, like I'm pretty much consistently getting like some sort of pushback or some sort of explaining myself. I'm definitely allowed and always been able to be creative. And I went to college with kids they're in the school of business, and I'm here for film, and they're telling me I wanted to be in film, but my mom told me no. Like I definitely was nurtured in a way of I can go and do what I want to do. But it's like he was the only one I understood. And still I didn't have a blueprint. Just because you understand me, it's not like a blueprint. Mm-hmm. And I think I've been consistently having to so much trial and error, but now I know what I want to do. I'm a VHS cinematographer, and I'm 10 toes about building this archive and not being erased and using archival pieces to build archival work. And, you know, a director is gonna put me in that corner of like, you could do BTS because they don't want they don't want to film the thing with the VHS, you feel me? And it's like figuring out how do I put myself where I see myself? The fear is just the unknown of like, will I be able to establish what I love the way I think it deserves to be established? That's the only fear, because I know it's hard. I know it's iconic. I know it's fire. So will they get it? And will I be able to get it where it needs to go? It's the only fear.
That was sweet to hear.
Well, I think you would.
Granted,
I think so.
I am too the first in my family to be something. So I know that feeling of not having a blueprint. But it's just that feeling inside where you just like, I know what I need to do. And you cannot lose that spark at all, because like you have to be the trailblazer. You have to be the one to go west for the gold. You know gold is there. And you got to walk your from Vermont all the way to the goddamn Nevada, California mines and all that, because you know that gold is there. And you got to be okay with looking crazy. Like you have to be okay with looking like a psychopath when you say this stuff. In the same way you stand 10 toes down on the art, you got to do that with every version of it. Like, trust me, I came out, my first real video, I'm on the phone with folks and I'm like, listen, it's gonna be black and white. Here's the treatment. I'm gonna be sitting on this stool. I'm gonna eat a roach and I'm gonna hang myself. And people were like, bro, what? And that thing changed the landscape of so much stuff. And I stood 10 toes down on it. And you have to do that, because you cannot allow yourself to form and get claymationed into the people that is at that business school wishing that they was in the position that you're in. You just cannot, bro. And you never know who's looking. I tell people that all the time, especially all of y'all. Like, when y'all post up, dude, I found his furniture stuff ran on some, I forgot what site it was. It wasn't even Instagram or nothing. I saw it on something random. And I was like, who is this? Looked this stuff up and bought a mirror from you. What was that, 2017? 26
customers overall.
Bro, I swear. And I was like, this is incredible. And like, he didn't know I was in LA in my house eating sushi. Like, damn, this is nice. We're chilling. You never know who is looking at the stuff that y'all put out. So you should actually look at how awesome it is that you have no blueprint and that you could lay down the ground to be the first one to do what you're doing. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah. Dimitri, let's hear from you, because I like your question.
All right. So I just did a museum show, my first one, and I spent like a year working on it. And I know, like you were mentioning Cherry Bomb before, how like when you dropped it, it sucked. Well, not, it didn't suck. I get it. I'm sorry. But people didn't didn't perceive it well, right? And then you switched it up and you heard like you were receptive to them, and then, you know, made your next album, and then it was perceived very well, and then did the next one. And then my question was basically how with each album you switch it up, whether it be like the characters or like the sound of it, right, sonically. And I'm wondering, how did you figure out how to change things to where like now it's at the point where like no matter what you change, it's good? Like, how can you continue to do that? Because I feel like as a painter, once you become known for a certain style, they expect that from you over and over.
Nah, nigga, Picasso changed in like what? Like later in his career? Well, but as a
it
painter,
feels like,
it's like most people think that you're supposed to like get stuck. I guess
you've kind of figured out a way to switch up things so that you can kind of keep the core fan base and keep the reception good after the whole thing.
Like looking at like
so
Lucien, sorry, Art Brain came on. Like looking at Lucien Freud's like work from like when he like started. Like just seeing the skin, like how he would paint skin from when he started to like later in his career. Like it gets like really amazing by the end, but like when he started it was like flat, but then over time. But then I guess, I mean, even the style evolved to like become something like different.
Yeah, and even Picasso, Dimitri, like Picasso changed his style. Like
like Picasso had the blue, you had the blue era, I think there's the red too.
Yeah.
At the blue era where it was just like blues, and they weren't necessarily like sad paintings. They were just like blue.
So I think there's
I think it's Fred died.
I think there's a lot of artists if you study a lot of artists, they like change their style. So I feel like, again, this goes for painting, but it goes for like every other like art medium. Like it's an expression, and it's kind of like the
It's
way.
like even Virgil's work early on, and like
the Louis Vuitton
later,
stuff, like the Louis Vuitton stuff was clean water.
Yeah, the Louis Vuitton stuff is like
The Louis Vuitton
definitely
was
not
clean
like
water.
Pyrex stuff.
Compared to like the Pyrex stuff, yeah.
And I guess again, it's he says different from painting, but I
mean it's art
because the style is going like the core of it is you, so it's still gonna have like that core element of like you, but then I think it's supposed to evolve because like wherever you are at the time is what
Where
you're like.
And I think it's also kind of like a human being as well. Like the sensibilities that you had as a kid doesn't really like go away. You just kind of like evolve.
Yeah, you kind of
into,
like refine it
into like something
an adult.
else. So I would say to look more for refinement than for that thinking. I would say to think more of, okay, this refines and evolves, as opposed to I get stuck in this one thing when I'm looking at like a artistic expression.
Yeah.
It would do that.
Number one thing, I'm a student. I'm a student of it, like real student of music, color, everything. I love things. And I think that plays a big part in the like, when I'm on to the next thing. I'll get back to that. What you said earlier, make things that's honest to you. The switch ups don't be on some like, oh, I'm a trick them again this time. Like, it's like, no, that's where I'm at in my life, and the music is going to be 110% where I'm at right then and there. And don't get it twisted. Some folks fall off as fans with certain things. Some people don't be rocking with it. But for the folks that fall off that train, new folks come in, and now that's a different generation that's into it, which is such a beautiful thing. So, and with that Cherry Bomb album, I had to learn like, oh, it's not just about the folks that's been there, because even with that album, which I don't say much, new people came. A few new folks came and was like, huh, what is this mess? I like it. And I'm over here like, damn, but and it took me a while to be like, oh, just because a few folks like, you know, leave the back of the concert, you still got a few that's just getting in that were late, that's excited about what just And you can't get hung up on like, I'm lucky that all my favorite artists, all the music they made was so pure that it switched up every 2 years. I'm lucky I had Ye, I'm lucky I had Pharrell, I'm lucky I had Outkast. I'm lucky I had these people that like, oh, this where you at in life? Well, I like your style and taste and thoughts, so I'ma tune in, and 9 times out of 10, I'm rocking with it. And you gotta be there, because if you bleed art and you making stuff that is not reflective of where you at right then and there, you gonna keep yourself back and then become stagnant and like be your own lack of a growth spurt. What do you call it? When you don't grow.
Stunted.
Yeah, thank you. I glitched. Yeah, like you'll stunt your own growth by not painting what you really want to paint right there, because you want a few buyers at the museum to cop it. Like, you can't do that. You gotta just keep it running and be honest with it. And then, if you're really a student, you'll know how to package it to where it might be a bit more digestible for folks who's instantly gonna be like, whoa, I don't know what this is.
That's a good answer. I like that. I like that.
Love that. I hope you take that. And congrats on the museum, dude.
Thank you.
That's sick.
All right, so I got a question for you.
Say that again?
I got a question for you. Let's say we taken all that was spoken here today, all the knowledge you poured in, and really go out and grind after this, and still kind of hit a wall, and it's like still not really working the way we'd like it to. What would be your creative advice?
I don't know at that point.
I really like that question, because I feel like it's like very like real. Because Because I feel like they could sit here and they could like get all the advice and then go out and then it still doesn't work. But I think, again, I don't think it never doesn't work. I feel like things just like, I think if you're like definite, if you're like clear about like the goal, like what it is you want to do, and like very clear, like specific, like this is what it is that I want to do, like I'm trying to do. Because I feel like sometimes like it doesn't work, but it's like, what do you want? Like you're not really sure. Like most people, I feel like most creative people have all these ideas and it's not definite. So it's like, well, I want this and I want this and I want this. So they're not really sure what it is. But I feel like if you're like really definite about like, this is the thing that like I want to achieve. And then it's just like one thing and it has to be one. It's like, this one thing could become this many things, but this is the one that I want to do. And then kind of just like hyper focus and like make a plan on how to get to like that thing. I feel like the process in getting there would help the path get like clear. Like I think you have to be very specific. So even the question of like going and it doesn't work, as like what isn't working out, like you have to be very like hyper specific about the one thing that it is that you want, at least for a start, before like the other things. I don't know. Would you say that?
Like what? Like the question, to answer the question that they just asked. Yeah, I think that tracks. I think I would say expect it. I would say expect to leave here with all this energy and then in 2 weeks, you're like, I fucking want to shoot myself in the head. Why is nothing working? I think that's just a part of it. And I think if you're sitting here being like, oh, your Tara's giving me all this thing, and then tomorrow I'm going to go out and make the best thing in the world and that'll pop me off and do whatever, that will not happen. So expect it. I would say that's what, don't set yourself up to feel like thing. And I think it's just human. The same way emotions go up and down, it's kind of like you feel inspired. And probably what most people have heard here today probably makes sense to them in like 3 months. Like it'll really seep in 3 months. So I'll just say expect to take in what he said and then go home and then feel like shit in 2 weeks and then get up again and keep going, and then in a month you feel the best you have, and then 2 months later you feel like shit, and then that's just what happens until you get there.
Yeah. This is really good.
This is really good. I really love this stream. This is a good one.
This is really good, by the way.
And I think again I would say, I feel like I would kind of give, because I think an interview, I think there's a certain components to like an interview. I feel like the energy of this interview is such an Omondi energy.
Yeah.
I would say Omondi kind of set up the space.
The cutting floor vibe.
Yeah, I feel like she set up the space where like everyone can be like honest and vulnerable, but not feel like they can't like go there. And even Tyler, I would give props to Tyler too for like coming into the space as well and like just being comfortable. Because then again, for someone on that level, like most people wouldn't do that. Like wouldn't come into this space and kind of like level with people that are just starting. So shout out Tyler for this, but I love the energy of this interview. Shout out Omondi. Omondi really is the best person in the world.
I ain't a doctor, but I don't know. I just like you pivot. You just gotta pivot and like assess the situation and like just pivot.
Are you pivoting for you? Like it's not working for you and you're pivoting, right? Or is it like in that context, if you like recall a time where you hit that wall and you're pivoting, is it because of something else, like external?
Usually because of me. Like some of my early records, one day I listened, I was like, why would I just be yelling? Oh, let me stop yelling. Like stuff like that. That's a light version, but like.
I feel like listening to the pivot question, I think you're pivoting because I think the thing is, again, I think there's a conflation that's happening. I think the pivoting question is, what are you pivoting for? Like you're pivoting for what you want. It's like, what is the result of what I want this thing to achieve?
I think it goes back to what you said, where it's kind of like, if you have the end point,
like you gotta be
if you know this is where I'm going, and you're going here, but then a rock is over there, you could go over the rock.
You could pivot
and go. You're still going to where you're going. So the pivoting, I feel like maybe they're understanding pivoting as like when you go pivot and then you just go towards the fire. It's just like, no, I'm going here. So then to go, let me use this because chat can see straight on. To go here, let's say I'm going here and then my face pops up over there. So I could go around the face and keep going here because this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
As opposed to like go towards the fire.
Because what I'm finding is there's a lot of like big ideas, which is cool and like nice, but it's like, I think the confusion most of the times come from lack of clarity of what it is that you actually want. And I think you have to do the work to figure out what do I actually want, and how can my skills and what I have get me to what, like, and it has to be definite. It has to be one thing and it has to be definite. And it's like, okay, I'm making art to express myself, blah, 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 but I want to be able to live comfortably making art. So that should be your goal. It's like, how do I make it and live comfortably? And it's like, that should be your goal. And if that is your goal, then there's so many things that would come in the way, but like that is your goal and that's definite. But then most people is like, oh, I want to be the greatest in the world.
Yeah, I want to be famous
and I want to
big money.
But I want it to be very distant. But then it's like a lot of things, and then you kind of get overwhelmed because you're trying to hit all this like goals at once. But it's like if you pick one, like start with one, and when you hit that one, then the next one, and then you hit that one, and then the next one, then it makes it like easy. At least for me, that's what like helped me, like that, like being like definite, and then you're pivoting to get to that goal that you like
ultimately want
like
to get to.
Whether it's like more people seeing the stuff you're doing and putting it out there, or it's like making money from the stuff, or it's like you have to be very precise and like what you want.
Definite.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Yeah,
right
just
in the
pivot.
chat.
And pivoting just means, again, that awareness and looking 30,000 feet up and like trying something new. Just try again. Bro, it's some things that work in a week. It's some things that take 5 years. And it's all patience. Like, patience is really relative depending on what the goal is and what you want. But like, sometimes it takes 5 years, sometimes it takes 1, sometimes it takes 10. I got boys that I know that the first year they came out, man, they had it all. Jets, awards, accolades, the whole thing. And it took me much longer than them to hit that pocket, but I'm grateful and happy for it. And like, I wouldn't have had it no other way. And I guess that's easy to say now that I hit whatever I'm comparing that to, but sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it takes 5 years. At that point, it just depends on the person.
I was thinking about your question with fear. Because my fear is not so much external or like the confidence in things. Like, I know I'm capable of what I can do because I trained for it. But I have sickle cell, so it's a blood disorder if you don't know too much about it. But like, it causes you pain and like it messes with the body. And my art form is like based on movement. It's based on what I can do physically. Like, you can only do so much at certain points. Like, I was just wondering, like, is there like been a phase where you can't, like, say you have like a sore throat or something, you can't like necessarily perform or create using your medium, like you want to make music. I can't do that right now because of like I'm sick, I got the flu or something. Just in that context, because I know I can't do it till like I'm 80, but I know I have a certain amount of time to put out or just create like what's given to me in that time frame. So I was just wondering about that, because I was thinking about like, if I went to dinner with my fears, they'd be like, I kept you safe like a lot of your whole life, basically, because I was not playing football because I have a disease. I was not playing basketball because I have a disease. I chose something I could do where I don't need to be in contact, but it still pushes my body in a certain way. So it would say I kept you safe, but like, it's like, I don't want you to hold me back. And like, I know it's like a time frame of doing that. So I was just wondering that.
A lot of the great basketball players and football players, at some point, they hit a wall. It happens and they become coaches. And they find other ways to get that stuff out. I know I can't perform, especially the way I perform, in the next 4 to 5 years. I've been on this tour like, oh, this is not sustainable. The way I move, the energy I do, these long sets with just me, this isn't sustainable. I'm currently now figuring out, damn, what is live gonna mean for me? Am I gonna just stop touring and just put music out? Because I'm like, I don't have to tour. I just like to do it. But the way I like to do it and what it means for me, that is cool from age 15 to like 35. 36, my back gonna start hitting, like for real. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to find a new medium of what that even means. And I started tour 2 months ago, so when I start thinking that, I was like, damn, some ball players, they can't be doing that no more. Their bones ain't the same, so they still got a love for the game though.
Yeah.
So they become coaches. They start doing this. They find other ways to get that creativity and that love and that passion out in other ways. And I think to sum that up, the word pivot is that.
Got you.
That's interesting.
In that thought, I'm wondering if you ever create like with a specific intention, because I know like the meaning of it.
Bro, I love all these people's voices.
I know.
I love everyone's voice
It's
on here.
so like distinct.
Intention is like constantly changing too, just as like, you know, change has multiple forms. But I'm wondering if you ever like go into a project, an album, a world, a design, whatever, with like this
intention,
is yeah.
Intention and feeling is always first.
Yeah.
That's why I say I create like a child.
Right.
Like they don't even, for the most part, know how to articulate in the way that us adults do. They just go off straight up feeling and emotion, and like their intention is that feeling, emotion, and like that's how I make things. There'll be some records or some songs where I'm like, oh, this is specifically for this environment. So if it doesn't work in this environment, that's okay, because it was made for X, Y, and Z. And depending on what you go into like that, like if your goal is to make folks feel good, you go in there and it's 5 folks and you put a smile on 2 of those, you check that off, so, yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys, all of you, for being here today. You guys asked some really great questions, and I hope that you got something out of this. And I guess the last question for you, Tyler, would be the same thing we've asked, but if it was one last statement of encouragement for them, what would it be?
Go crazy. That's like, be delusional. Go 1,010% and just do it. Go crazy, all of y'all. Everything y'all doing, like, just go for it. Look crazy. Like, look like a psychopath, dude. Do it.
That was cool.
That shit was tough.
That was fire.
That shit was tough.
Chat. Hashtag Redgen in the chat.
Hashtag
Also,
Redgen, how are you feeling?
What do you think? What do you feel about this? How do you think? I think it was a really... I'll say how I think, but please, actually no, I'll let everyone else say how they feel, what they think, or what they thought first, and then I'll say what I think. What do you guys think about this? Good questions. Fire. Great video.
Yeah, that was an amazing video. Yo, chat, I feel like we should do this all the time. Like, I feel like we should just watch. Really good. I feel like we just watch videos together. That was amazing.
That was really good.
No, Instagram
finally dropping good content.
Instagram finally dropping good content for real.
Nah, for real. Tyler's response similar to the last video we watched. Yeah.
I think I like, for whatever reason, this one just kind of like sits more.
I feel like this is more like the environment. Like, I feel like then it was like Converse was outside. I feel like this is more like intimate, smaller, and like the vibe. And then like obviously they got like Omondi on there, so that was really good. I think, again, I feel like we definitely need more of this stuff. I think more like creative people need to watch this stuff. I think to me, like when I was in high school, like this is basically what.
Yeah, this is basically what I would do.
Like got me through like
Literally.
that like phase of
Like
my
times
life.
9:43 p.m. and it's just this is exactly like I'm not doing anything different
Like this
than
is
I
what
would
I'd
do
be
when I was
doing
like
at
16.
9:43 p.m.
At 16 years old. The only difference is that now we have like the internet watching us
Yeah, we have like
watch
4
it.
people watch it together, like talk about it.
This is like high
literally how
school.
we talk about it. Like this is exactly
Yeah, this is high school.
Like what we do,
And then we pause the video and then I'll say something to like Whak, and then
No, like how
I could say
exactly
something
how we
to
just
me, yeah.
watched it.
That's
Like, I feel
kind of
like
how
that's
we watch it.
We'd watch it. And I think it's really good. I think a lot of young people or young creative people trying to work professionally as creatives, like this stuff is like good to like hear from people that experience, from people that are also trying to do it, and like can hear the questions and what everyone's going through, and it could also help. Like, it could also help them if they're in a similar like, situation.
But yeah, we've been here 2 hours. Let me know how you're feeling, chat. Final words, final questions before we hop off here. This was really good. I had a good time. I had an amazing time. But I want to know what chat thinks and what like again, and then also like let us know like should we do more of these? What type of things do you want to see? Like chat, tell me. Like we're here, we're having a conversation. 4 of you, let's talk. You guys have Whak&Mo for the next Saturday stream still? Yes.
Yeah, we're going
there
on
will
Saturday.
be a Saturday stream. Every Saturday, we don't miss a Saturday.
We need more.
We need more. More what? You need more what?
Saturday stream is still on. Every Saturday, we wouldn't miss it.
Wouldn't miss it. But I do like the impromptu streams. I feel like
I just saw this video.
Yeah, I just saw this video and I'm like, this just came out. Gotta watch it. Sky drops tonight. Actually,
Sky drops tonight.
Sky drops tonight. We're gonna listen to Sky. I mean, I'm obviously gonna listen to it. But on Saturday stream,
yeah, we're gonna
there'll be a
listen.
specific section.
Saturday stream is gonna be
Sky
good.
Water.
Saturday stream is gonna be good. I think I like the interview. So I think I'm liking how it's like evolving. Like I think I like the interviews where we watch interviews and then we talk. I think I'm liking where we just like explore. It's like look at stuff.
So what I mean depends on we'll have to figure this out. Oh my god, they're gonna kill me. But we could do one stream. So let's say like a Thursday, not really, but like we'll pick a day where like we just watch videos. And then we have the other stream where we just explore. We'll figure it out. But I'm just saying it. I'm just saying to chat. The conversations are good, different perspectives. Yeah, I know. This
was really good. Like
was
I'm
amazing.
like even like inspired. Like oh yeah, I want to go like break shit or make shit rather. But no, that's really good. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We're gonna
skedaddle.
We're gonna head off. I have a bunch of stuff to do that I haven't done. So
shout out chat. Shout out you guys.
thank you guys so much. Oh my god, this is amazing.
This video is going to be uploaded on YouTube. So chat if you want to watch it back.
Yeah, you could get that. Hashtag RightGen.
Hashtag RightGen in the chat. Let's close this out. Hashtag spam RightGen. Just write RightGen, copy it, and just paste send. Let's spam RightGen before we leave here. WStream RightGen. I love chat, bro. I love you guys.
I was born in the right generation, bro.
I'll talk to you guys soon, man. Look at I love it.
Hashtag RightGen.
Hashtag RightGen. I love it. Bye, guys.